My name's Duddy, Settle Builds and stuff. I've been busy testing away. Just look at this damage number 161. Now just watch what happens here. Once he's marked up, we're going to get up to 335 damage via box breathing and stopping power and a secret exotic. These combine to get 110% damage increase. So the perk is called stopping power. We'll take a look at that in a moment, but I'm going to be pairing it up with Knucklehead radar. Yes, you heard me correct, Knucklehead radar. And box breathing, all these stacking together in even redirection it can stack with, gives you massive damage. So stopping power, this weapon's kinetic ordnance can more easily stagger combatants and grant increased target acquisition, but the bottom part is the most important, and damage against low health targets. So if you get an enemy to low health, stopping power will give you increased damage. So how much damage is it? Well, it's 15%, so 161, and it finishes off at 185. So 161 was the original shot, 185, that's just short of a 15% damage increase, which is good on its own. On this roll of the something kinetic sniper, I've actually got one with redirection and box breathing. Just for testing purposes, I'm just going to test it with box breathing. Box breathing on snipers will give you a 40% damage increase. With precision hits, all you got to do is aim down. I think it's like 1.5 seconds. You're going to proc that box breathing, but that actually pairs up nicely with stopping power. So I'm going to show you that working now. So once again, 161 was the first shot. The stopping power, which you've already seen, went up to 259. And the next clip, all I'm going to do is proc my box breathing. So you're going to see it go up even more. Now I've got my box breathing procced, my stopping power. So 161 and it goes to 259. So that's a 60% damage increase, which works out just about right. 15% from stopping power and 40% for box breathing. However, they're multiplicative buffs, so they're stacked together. So there you go, 60% damage increase. That's why it's not 55, sorry, over 60. Now, Knucklehead radar, this one, I've done quite a few videos on this. I feel it's a little bit underrated. The top part is for PvP. You're going to get enhanced radar, etc. But the bottom bit also states it deals more damage to low health marked targets, just like stopping power. So we're going to see what that does now. You start off at 5 and you'll see that it's marked up there. I did notice a slight bug. The cursor doesn't stay on forever. You have to keep re-aiming, but it started off at 5. And as long as you keep sort of re-aiming every like 4 or 5 seconds, you're going to see it go up to 6 and then to 7. It doesn't sound a lot, but 5 to 7 equates to a 40% damage increase. Now, I always thought Knucklehead radar was 30%. I'm not saying this is meta or anything like that, but Knucklehead radar is something you should really put on. What I've always done is when enemies are low health, especially for like raid bosses, just a quick switch over. So 5 to 7 is a 40% damage increase, and you can probably see where I'm going. It stacks with stopping power and box breathing. So 161 again. I'm going to proc my stopping power box breathing, which you've already seen, goes to 259. That's the 60% damage increase. And then the next clip, what I'm going to do is mark him up with the old Knucklehead radar, and you're going to see even more damage increase. So just bear with me while I get there. One is going up, that's your stopping power and your Knucklehead radar working. And then your final shot, or your final last couple of shots, as long as they're marked up with Knucklehead radar, is going to be absolutely huge. A whopping 335. That is a 108% damage increase, which is really good for free. Now, so I'll just quickly break them down one more time. Stopping power 15% against low health targets. Knucklehead radar, which I got to 40%, even though it says 30%. I'm not sure what that was. Maybe it's something I've done wrong, or it's maybe been stealth buffed or something like that. Box breathing is 40%. They all stacking together to get an absolutely whopping massive damage increase. It also rolls on a couple of other weapons. I've looked through my vault. I've got an Astral Horizon with stopping power. So there is plenty of other options. And like I said, you're going to see exactly the same, but with a shotgun, everything marked up, etc. I'm not going to bother breaking this down, but you'll see the damage increase. Now, for me, like I said earlier on in the beginning of the video, I don't claim this is going to be like DPS meta or anything like that. But if you've got like a tanky target or a raid or a dungeon boss or something like that, you just use your supers. As long as there's no swap on, quick switch to Knucklehead radar, and you're going to be dealing additional damage over your teammates and other players just for a quick switch over once you've used your supers. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.